Today I learned during the American Revolution, an enslaved man was charged with treason and sentenced to hang. He argued that as a slave, he was not a citizen and could not commit treason against a government to which he owed no allegiance. He was subsequently pardoned. There's an interesting scene in Lincoln where the president tries to explain the legal paradoxes of declaring slaves free in the context of determining whether the southern states are in rebellion or are legitimized foreign states in a state of war. I decided that the Constitution gives me war powers, but no one knows just exactly what those powers are. Some say they don't exist. I don't know. I decided I needed them to exist to uphold my oath to protect the Constitution, which I decided meant that I could take the rebel slaves from them as property confiscated in war. That might recommend to suspicion that I agree with the rebs that their slaves are property in the first place. Of course I don't, never have. I'm glad to see any man free, and if calling a man property, or war contraband, does the trick. Why I caught at the opportunity. Now here's where it gets truly slippery. I used the law allowing for the seizure of property in a war knowing it applies only to the property of governments and citizens of belligerent nations. But the South ain't a nation, that's why I can't negotiate with them. If in fact the Negroes are property according to law, have I the right to take the rebels' property from them, if I insist they're rebels only, and not citizens of a belligerent country? And slipperier still, I maintain it ain't our actual southern states in rebellion but only the rebels living in those states, the laws of which states remain in force. The laws of which states remain in force. That means, that since it states laws that determine whether Negroes can be sold as slaves, as property, the federal government doesn't have a say in that, least not yet then Negroes in those states are slaves, hence property, hence my war powers allow me to confiscate them as such. So I confiscated them. But if I'm a respecter of states' laws, how then can I legally free them with my proclamation, as I done, unless I'm canceling states' laws? I felt the war demanded it, my oath demand. Speech, 100. Plus 10% to persuade. Expected this to end with, he was subsequently granted citizenship and hanged.